In Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, an old king describes what he calls the world's greatest lie. It is the belief that at a certain point we lose control of what is happening to us, and our lives become directed by fate. Santiago, a young shepherd, lives within the safety of that lie. He knows exactly where to find the best pastures in Andalusia. He knows his sheep by name, and his life follows a predictable, comfortable routine. This comfort is disrupted by a dream. A child transports him to the Egyptian pyramids and tells him that a hidden treasure is waiting for him there. It is a goal that feels as immense as the stone structures themselves. The king, Melchizedek, explains that this dream is Santiago's personal legend, the purpose he was born to fulfill. In our youth, this purpose is clear, and we feel capable of achieving anything we imagine for our lives. But as time passes, a different force takes hold. It is a subtle pressure to accept the world as it is, which eventually convinces us that realizing our true legend is impossible. The king points to a local baker to illustrate this trap. As a child, the baker wanted to travel. Instead, he chose to buy a bakery and build a respectable life, because society values a stable business owner more than a wandering shepherd. He traded his own dream for the approval of his neighbors. This leaves us with a question about our own choices. Are you currently moving toward the unknown, or have you already prioritized the safety of a bakery? To find his treasure, Santiago has to act. He sells his entire flock, buys a ticket at the port of Tarifa, and crosses the narrow strait into Africa. He leaves behind everything that made his life manageable.
By choosing the path of the adventurer, he begins to notice omens, subtle, non-verbal signs that provide guidance. He relies on two stones, Urim and Thummim, to help him interpret the language the universe uses to speak to those who are paying attention. This early catastrophe is the first true filter of the journey. As Santiago learns, every search begins with beginner's luck, but it ends with a test of persistence. The theft in Tangier forces him to either give up or prove that he is willing to commit to a world he no longer understands. Following the adventurer's path leads Santiago to a new stage on our chart. He takes a job with a crystal merchant and, over the next year, transforms the business through his own innovations. He eventually earns double the wealth he had as a shepherd. But the merchant is a warning. He dreams of a pilgrimage to Mecca, but refuses to go, fearing that if his dream is realized, he will have no reason to keep living. He has replaced his purpose with the mere thought of it. Santiago realizes that this new comfort is just another obstacle. He sees that it is incredibly easy to stop searching when the current resting place is profitable. He chooses to leave that success behind to join a caravan crossing the Sahara. He trades the safety of the shop for a landscape of heat, silence, and the looming threat of tribal wars. In the desert, he learns to sense the soul of the world. By watching the flight of hawks, he correctly predicts an attack on a neutral oasis, saving the people there and gaining the attention of the chieftains. At this oasis, he meets Fatima and falls in love. Suddenly, the search for the pyramids feels less important than the desire to stay with her and live a peaceful life. He is confronted by the Alchemist, a powerful figure who appears on a white horse. The Alchemist delivers a blunt lesson. Love will never require a person to abandon their personal legend. Fatima herself agrees. As a woman of the desert, she knows her man must follow his path to its conclusion. Many people never reach the end of their search because they find a version of success that is good enough to stop. Like the baker or the crystal merchant, they don't stop because they are incapable. They stop because the comfort of the present finally outweighs the promise of the horizon. At the alchemist's command, Santiago leaves the oasis and plunges back into the desert. He must risk his life to complete the final leg of the journey. Throughout the story, characters repeat the word maktub, it is written. This describes a path prepared by the universe, but it remains invisible to anyone who refuses to read the omens or make the sacrifices to walk it. The path is there, but the traveler must choose to follow it. The alchemist warns that if Santiago had stayed, he would have been a wealthy and loved counselor, but the omens would eventually stop appearing. He would spend the rest of his life with the heavy knowledge that he had turned away from his purpose. The universe does conspire to help you, but only if you have the courage to sacrifice the familiar flock, walk past the bakery's comfort, and leave the crystal shop behind to chase the horizon.